It's the Kpopcast, and I am DJ Peterlo, a K-pop DJ, and I'm joined here by my recurring show host, Supermatic. What's going on?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Supermatic is a K-pop b-boy, if you haven't heard our show, if this is your first time tuning in. So this is actually an experiment for us. We're going to do a mini-sode where we're just going to do one day Bach or Not, and we'll move on to other stuff probably later on in this week. But before we dive into our first mini-sode day Bach or Not, we have an announcement to make.
Oh, that's right. This little something special.
That's right. So we want to get you guys to give your thoughts about our show, and we want to get more of that feedback. So we are doing a album giveaway. We are giving away the BTS latest album,
You Never Walk Alone.
And we have a lot of thoughts to say about that upcoming release. But to win that album, all we ask is that you leave a review on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcasts, and tweet the link to your review with the hashtag Kpopcast, and we'll pick a winner by March 8th, 2017. So again, we want to see those reviews out there, and we'll give you your own copy of BTS. So what do we have on the show for today, Supermatic?
We are going to be taking a look at the latest release from TaeYeon of SNSD and her new sultry single.
That's right.
I Got Love.
So if you haven't seen it yet, what's wrong with you? No, I'm just kidding. So if you haven't seen it yet, what happens in this music video, Supermatic?
We've got TaeYeon just looking very grown up and mature, displaying a confident kind of sexy, along with a backdrop and setting of a lot of thematic elements of diamonds and bling bling and gold dust.
Why didn't we call this song Bling Bling?
I know, right?
There are a lot of K-pop songs which had that same title, but none of them as appropriate to use it as much as in this case with TaeYeon.
Yeah, especially like diamonds everywhere.
Yeah. Diamonds and gold dust.
Right.
If you haven't seen it, right, we're seeing a lot of diamonds, a lot of gold dust. TaeYeon, she's wearing what? A lot of sparkles?
A lot of sparkles, a lot of shiny, on-point stylistic dresses. We see her accessorizing all the time with necklaces, earrings, like everything that literally just shines and is bright.
I almost kind of want to call it like bedazzled, but like, you know, it's like she's got the diamonds where that diamond thing running pretty strong throughout this entire music video. So if you're into diamonds, if you're into sparkling things, this is your music video to watch.
For sure.
We see guys looking at diamonds, appraisers, right? Jewelers with their spectacles on to look closely at the diamonds.
Yes.
They start off as appraisers, and then they become dancers.
Yes.
So what do you think they're trying to tell us with this music video?
Well, looking at the lyrics, what TaeYeon is singing about is how she's singing to a general potential suitor, or maybe like a potential guy that she wants him close. She needs her close. She wants to draw him in, you know? I mean, she's grown up, definitely. This is a more mature concept for her.
Sure.
And the lyrics reflect that, because usually, you know, TaeYeon's singing about either past relationships, heartbreak, or just general free spirit and living.
Yep.
In this one, it's like, oh, come into me, boy. Like, I need you here with me.
Did it work on you, Matt?
Well, I mean, I'm a TaeYeon fan, so either way, I might have been drawn in. But I'll admit, she's got that alluring concept and aura going for her this time.
Yeah, I think that seems to be the general fan reaction to this music video. Is that
for sure.
This is a very different side from what we're seeing from TaeYeon.
Yes.
Right? We've seen her do Y very well.
Yep.
We've seen her do 1111 and I.
Yes.
These are all songs where it's very happy, not necessarily with 1111, but very delicate sunshines, rainbows, sunsets, you know, like very reflective, you know, songs that you would, you know, play at the end of the day. A nice ballad, which really strongly highlight the ability of her voice.
Yes.
This one, it seems to be a much darker, sultry concept, at least for this musician, for this artist.
For sure.
What did we think of this new concept?
Personally speaking, I mean, I do like it.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that SM did what I call upon a lot of artists and labels to do, which is swinging for the fences here in terms of the song and the concept.
Right.
Because again, you cited Y 1111. We've seen Taeyeon in those videos and concepts dressed kind of more conservatively. Y, especially, she was very youthful, very bright, very colorful. She's worn like makeup that highlights how pale her skin is.
Right.
In this one, she's back to her black hair. She's more mature. She's grown up. She's dressed and looks reflective of her age, like how mature and how grown up she actually is.
And I love to see that in K-pop. I mean, look, we know Taeyeon can do that happy, blonde waitress girl look, right?
Yes.
And this is a chance for her to show that other side, and I think they did deliver on it.
Oh, definitely.
I do have a couple of critiques on how they could have done it better, but I think it is definitely a darker look, which they succeeded on. Looking at the concept and maybe the story that they're trying to tell in this music video, I may have looked into it too closely, but the way I first interpreted it, we see a lot of diamonds, right?
Yes.
And that like that Pink Floyd album cover where it shows the light going through the glass and it refracts into the different colors. I thought at first, like, well, could this be the idol Taeyeon maybe objectifying herself as a diamond? And then we were seeing the different sides of her in these different colors.
Interesting.
Right?
Interesting.
So we see the purple side, we see the original white light version, and we see some red.
Yes.
And a black. And I kind of wanted to say the black is the unseen side of her. And that's what we're getting in this music video. But after looking at it further and further, I'm going to say, nope, that's just probably me looking too far into it. But it is kind of cool how you see how the jewelers at the beginning are taking each of those colors and they're bringing it into their little...
Yeah, that was really cool. Like that nice little subtle thing that ties everything together.
Right. So am I off? What do you guys think? Let us know. Was there anything else that you took from this story?
Well, admittedly for me, and as you know, Peter, and as many of our listeners will be able to attest to from all of our previous episodes, I'm usually one of those guys who really dives deep into music videos, analyzes every little thing.
Sure, yeah.
For me, watching this video multiple times, I watched it with the knowledge beforehand that this was actually a pre-release to Taeyeon's full album.
Oh, right.
So with this not even being a title track, I pretty much cut it a little bit of slack, and I was like, maybe because this is just a little teaser as it is of her full album. Right. Maybe that's one of the reasons why SM and Taeyeon didn't really go through all the trouble of putting hidden meanings or Easter eggs into this video. I think what they went for more here was just what's going to be the most visually and aesthetically pleasing video, as well as what complements the concept they're going for. Yeah. Because this video is very enjoyable to watch. I mean, they've got all these bright, different changing color filters, nice hues and color schemes. The backdrops that they give Taeyeon, like she's sitting on a leather couch, or she's in a hall of mirrors, or there's that one interesting, weird scene where she's surrounded by drones. Yeah, what's up with those drones?
Seeing different sides and angles, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
But I mean, just overall, it's a nice, aesthetically pleasing video to watch.
Yeah. And your point about the album, I mean, maybe we listen to the lyrics of the song or read the lyrics of the song, and it's about drawing you in, boy. Yes. And maybe this is that tease, that little like suspense right before the main album. Maybe that was deliberate. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there is that one line that Taeyeon has in this song where she says, I need you close, babe. Well, once you fall into me, everyone's going to want me. So it's like, well, if us as listeners fall into this song, we're going to want the rest of the album.
Sure. It's funny because one of our listeners, she critiques like, man, these girl groups are all looks, no talent. Is look a talent? I don't know. That's up for interpretation. Yeah. But she's totally, trying to, seduce the listener. What did we think of the song?
So I was definitely caught a little off guard because with it being a Taeyeon release, and even from listening to the teasers, I was like, oh, this might be something different. But because of all the different music I've listened to, especially with K-pop, what I've been conditioned to listen to, I was caught right from the beginning with how it's like a slow build up. We don't really have as much production on the track as we've come to expect from other songs. Yeah. This one is just mostly like jazz funk riffs and instrumentals. We've got the snare drums, a subtle bass, And then it builds up after Taeyeon's verse where she goes from the chest voice, where she's like at that steady tone. She hits the falsettos on the pre-chorus, or what I think is the pre-chorus. And then again, you expect like a drop or heavy instrumental on what you think is going to be the chorus, but then there's nothing really there. It's just that.
Well, you hear that sort of like that
Yes.
like wailing of the distortions, like wow.
Yes, which at first I thought might have been a horn, but now that I think about it, and you've pointed this out too, it might be more of one of those string instruments, like the higher end of a guitar.
Yeah. For the hook, right?
Yes.
But the distortion, I think, is just like, I don't know. It could be a great number of different things, but it could be like just the distortion or the whammy thing on the guitar.
Like what it sounded like to me, even though there's enough elements of the song that you can tell it's a modern take. It feels or sounds something that I would hear if I were to walk into like maybe a 1940s or 50s jazz lounge or speakeasy, maybe
a contemporary speakeasy, right? Because like you're not going to get those sounds in like the 1940s, the original speakeasy,
oh yes,
right?
Of course,
but or 1930s to be more accurate.
But just like that atmosphere, the vibe that it gives off.
I 100% agree. It's almost like a film noir, right?
Yes,
like,
there you go.
And film noir, not AOA style, not Aegyo film noir, but an actual a darker, somber, sultry aesthetic and feeling to the song. And that's what I love about it.
Absolutely.
Because it's so different from other stuff that we're getting in K-pop in general. I mean, it kind of reminds me of some other peripheral artists. If you like this sound, I would highly recommend checking out Wax Taylor, Beats Antique. This song kind of feels like a blend between those two different styles of those musicians and those artists. But to break that down for people who don't know, it's very stripped down in terms of what the background is.
Yes.
It has a lot of that lower frequencies with the kick drum and that distortion sound, and then the higher sounds of that. I believe it's a guitar. It could be a number of different things, but it's probably guitar.
That weird
on that. On the loop. So I thought it was pretty cool, and it's almost like a cabaret, not in terms of having all that brass but it's trying to bring you in through the smoke into this song. So that drop, that's all it is. It's just that instrumental hook.
It's almost kind of like it leaves you with almost virtually no choice but to just enjoy the song and the beats as a whole. This is
the song that you play during your cocktail hour.
Absolutely.
Or when you're, trying to go for more of a steampunk sort of vibe.
Definitely. I can see that.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, though, is that in terms of the vocals, the job that Taeyeon did, vocally speaking here, I love the way she smoothly transitions between like what's called the chest voice, as I've learned, which is just singing from your chest and keeping that steady tone. And then, again, she goes up to the falsettos when she sings those lines like, I need you close. And I felt like she did, if not a perfect job, near a perfect job, especially with complementing it against the instrumental.
That's right. And it could be that just I'm a non-Korean speaker, but for me, it wasn't as wholly dominating the song as maybe her other previous somber, subtler, more delicate previous ballads were, where, it was make or break based on her vocals alone. This one, it felt like the vocals were more complementary.
Absolutely.
To the song as a whole. And while it is the melody, it felt like it was more of a harmony in the song. In terms of rating, how would you rate it in terms of audio? 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest.
Audio-wise, for me, as much as I really, really like the fact that they swung for the fences, they took chances, which I'm always looking for, especially when it comes to K-pop, and how I know they really like to play it safe. This one, with how different it is, especially in the spectrum of the other big releases we have, and in general, how sonically different it is from what we've come to expect.
Right.
I like that they are experimenting with different things, and I like the job that Taeyeon did. But for someone who prefers her more for her ballad side, those belting out high notes, which as a Taeyeon fan, I feel is more of her strength, I gave this a solid 3.75.
Okay.
Could have been a 4, but again, like I said, personal preference. It's just, as I really like what they did, but it's not the kind of overall delivery from Taeyeon that I myself like.
So it didn't take advantage of her raw talent and capabilities,
Yeah.
is what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I definitely see that. I think they could have tried to push it to be more creative with the song, to try to showcase her ability and take advantage of that ability just a little more. Sure. I definitely understand that. For me, however, I gave it a solid 4.
Ooh.
And I rate that even against the other big breakthroughs that we're seeing this week from Twice and BTS, the 2 songs from BTS. This is actually my favorite, my personal favorite against all of those. And I suppose that this is also taken in the context of what this means for K-pop overall, because we don't typically hear this sound from a K-pop label.
Oh, for sure.
Much
definitely.
less, a tier 1, like, SM Entertainment label.
Yes.
So I applaud this sort of sound. It's dark and it's not too poppy, and it's manufactured in the way that I like. So a pretty solid 4 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Concept next.
So 1 to 5 for me. The concept, I'm gonna give it a 3.5. And again, while I love this whole dark girl look, especially for this idol, I can't help but wonder if they could have done something even darker.
Oh, in terms of what?
Well, in terms of thematically, story, the message.
Oh.
So it's, it's a seductive, hey, check me out, boy, sort of story. And we see these jewelers praising her, and then they do these really cool Latin dance moves, which I, like as a former Latin ballroom dancer.
Which, for those who unfortunately can't see, Peter is emulating himself right now with his arm movements.
Yeah. I feel like, look, there's a lot of fun, visually enticing sparkles in it, associated with shining bright like a diamond. But underneath that, for the dark black concept that we've seen, I feel like we could have said something much darker, borderline evil.
Oh,
so sort of like the sirens, we get from Greek mythology, and it's like this, and this is actually what happens, boy. And it doesn't need to be that overt or that that explicit in terms of its darkness, but I think that subtlety and the second layer, that deeper meaning, I think would have added a lot more for it. For me, we see a lot of dark concepts from boy groups where they're like all vampires or whatever.
Yes.
Like nothing to that extent, right? Like nothing that overt, like, okay, I'm here to suck your blood or whatever, but like something that, just like, hey, there's another edge to this beauty.
Interesting. Okay. I can see where you're going with that.
Yeah. So that's why I give it 3.5. How about you, Supermatic?
Me, I actually gave the concept a 4, which is pretty high. Like, I kind of surprised myself with giving it that score, especially considering how simplistic it is, because as you can attest to, the simpler a concept in a music video has been, usually the lower end of a score I would give it. The reason why I gave this one the rating that I did is because, again, it was just, I felt it, and it was really, in my opinion, well done. And the fact that Taeyeon really drove, it was driven by her performance diving into this role with that whole alluring, seductive temptress theme.
Right.
And also just the fact that for once I could, at least in a while, I could just sit back and enjoy a K-pop MV without having to put effort into looking for hidden meanings, and literally just sit there and visually and aesthetically just enjoy a music video.
Right.
And of course, it's Taeyeon. She looked really, really good. I loved the styling. Shout out to the wardrobe and the makeup team, everyone that made her look how good she did.
Yep.
It was just a really fun and a really visually stimulating, enjoyable MV to watch.
So Daebak or not?
Daebak. You gotta ask.
Daebak. And for me, it's also Daebak. Again, this is such a flavor that we're not used to seeing. I want to see more of this flavor in K-pop. I don't expect this from every group, right? I don't expect every group to go through this exact same concept where we see trends in K-pop where like, oh, everyone needs to do a dark concept now.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't have to be like that. But I think, I can see this going really well with Brown Eyed Girls, for example, or even Hyuna. So sure. I mean, that's what I'd like to see more of in the future.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of other girls in SNSD do their own solos.
Yes.
How is Taeyeon, how does she compare to her other colleagues, her other girls?
Well, as we've talked about on previous podcasts, and as we can clearly see, whether you're a Son or just a general K-pop fan and you follow Taeyeon or any of the SNSD members, it seems like SM really puts a lot of their eggs into the basket when it comes to Taeyeon.
Sure,
like they will hedge their bets on her.
Yep.
compared to what we saw that they gave to TaeYeon with Mystery, what they gave to Sohyun recently with her solo debut, which was Don't Say No.
Right.
And then even with Tiffany's I Just Want to Dance, like she got a bit more of a budget, maybe almost close to what Taeyeon gets for any of her productions.
Maybe just to combat Jessica.
Yeah. Right. But it's pretty evident that when it comes to Taeyeon, they lay all of her bets on her. Even for something like this that's very experimental and different.
Right.
Yes.
They know it works. So, it's less of a risk, I think, for the label to, produce a hit like this and get fans to eat it up and to respond to it.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It was production value, I think, well spent for the label.
Especially considering how simple the video is, too. Because usually with SM, you see them go all out with very, like, weird, almost kind of, like, wacky, ridiculous things in music videos.
Yeah.
But with this one being as simple as it is, I feel like it was a good idea, and they just pretty much let Taeyeon take the hold of it, and they relied more on her performance and her delivery, her acting, too.
Yeah, totally. There are still 4 members who haven't done their solo yet, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
Nothing has officially been confirmed, but a lot of Sones, myself included, and just general K-pop fans are curious that since they've already gone through literally half the group now, giving them their solo debuts, does this mean that we can expect future solo debuts for Sooyoung, Sunny, Yuri, and Yuna? Because they're the other half that have not gotten that yet.
Yeah.
And even Jessica, who may not be part of SNSD anymore, after she left, she still got her solo debut as well. So, I mean, for those out there who are OT9, I mean, even Jessica got her solo debut. So, in a way, you could say that over half of SNSD has gotten their solos. Now we're just waiting on the last half.
Yeah, I mean, and the reason why I raised this question is what's going to happen to the group as a whole?
Yeah.
We're in the age right now where girl groups from that original 09, 010 era are disbanding.
Yes. Which we've covered a lot as well.
Is this going to be a new evolution of Girls' Generation? Will there be a new subunit? Will there be solo projects in the future? Or will they remain together as an 8-member group?
I mean, the only ones who really know are the members themselves as well as SM. But what pretty much all 8 of the members have been on record as saying is that if it was up to them, Girls' Generation would never really formally disband. Kind of like Super Junior's current status.
I see.
But they would still, they would stay close. Maybe they may not do too much activities together as a whole, but they will still support each other. And as their slogan is, it's like, yesterday was Girls' Generation, today's Girls' Generation, forever it's Girls' Generation. So, like, even if they don't do anything much more longer as a group, I don't think they're ever going to formally disband unless SM pulls something and forces them to, but let's hope that doesn't happen.
I see. Okay. Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
Especially considering that this year in August will mark 10 years since their debut.
It's been that long.
Yes.
Can you, I'm just trying to imagine the age of the listeners, the fans of Girls' Generation. For a lot of them, I feel like that's almost half their life.
Just about.
Yeah. For me, it's a third of my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a pretty long milestone for a group to be together. Okay, so that's it for this episode, this mini-sode of Kpopcast, where we took a look at Taeyeon and I Got Love. Where can people find us online, Supermatic?
You can find us at the Kpopcast.net, which is our blog. And for each of us individually, I am on Twitter and Instagram and even YouTube at Supermatic, which is SOUPERMATIC.
That's right. I am at DJ Peter Lowe. And guys, remember to use that hashtag Kpopcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we source a lot of our feedback and content from there. So again, this was an experimental mini-sode for us. Let us know what you thought. A reminder, we are giving away that album for BTS. We have a lot of thoughts about it, which is coming up. But if you want to win a copy of that album, remember just to leave us a review and to tweet your link to the review with hashtag Kpopcast.
Yeah, you want to win your own copy of You Never Walk Alone, then just do that for us and we'll return the favor.
All right. Catch you guys later.